Tech Street Cars today. Got a little 67 Chevy Camaro here, 68 Chevy Camaro here that we're going to be doing a 6.0 swap on. Right now he has a 5.3. Ended up bringing it to a guy in Dallas, and he kind of did not a very good LS swap on it. But we're going to go ahead and start taking this car apart in a minute, but I'm going to go over some of the stuff on it before we start taking it apart. First off, it's got a 5.3 in it right now, and it has a poly high ram intake on it. We're going to be changing the intake on the other motor to probably a 4150 intake, like what I have on the single cab truck back there. And we'll be changing a bunch of stuff on here. For an all motor build, you really don't want to go with these intakes that he has on here because it's not good for it. These are better for like a turbo build. But a couple other things we're going to be fixing is the guy that did the original swap on this car put a hole and put his fuel pump and everything in the trunk, which is also very bad. We're going to be putting it under his car, and then we're going to patch stuff up and make it nice. We got a couple of things to do on this car, and we're going to do the swap and everything. But once we get it torn apart, I'll go ahead and video it, and then we'll start on the putting the 6.0 in it and everything else. Alright guys, we just made it back out to the shop. We went and picked up a LQ4 6.0 that the guy had for his car. And then we're going to be using the 4L60 that's already in the car. We're going to be sending it to Houston to get it rebuilt by one of our buddies. What's the guy's name? David. Houston. And then probably tonight we're going to start taking this car back apart, and we're going to get it ready to, we're going to be getting this LQ4 6.0 ready to go on the run stand so we can run it before, so we can make sure his motor's good before we put it in the car, make sure it gets fuel pressure and everything. The video of us running this motor, it'll be in a future video when we get ready to do the C10 this motor's going in.
67 short bed step side barn truck.
Basically a barn find truck. It was the guy's grandfather's truck, right?
Yep. Been in the barn for like 30 years.
We're gonna be doing an LS swap on it for a guy named Brian Clark, other way around. But we ended up getting this motor to run on the run stand. We got the transmission to go through the gears and stuff. This one's going to be getting rebuilt too by the same guy in Houston. And we're going to be taking this motor apart and basically just going through it, replacing gaskets and everything that we need to replace on it. But when we get ready to start taking the Camaro apart, I'll start videoing again. Hopefully we're going to be able to at least get some of the stuff done on it tonight with taking it apart. And then we got a couple more things we got to do. We got a little hole in the trunk where the previous guy that worked on it, he did some stuff. He put the fuel pump in the trunk, cut a hole there. We're gonna patch that hole, and then we're gonna clean it up back here a little bit.
Show them where the fuel pump is. The inline pump mounted 2 foot above the fuel tank.
But we need to put it lower so it'll be gravity fed.
We're probably gonna put an in-tank pump in it.
Yeah, make it look a lot nicer.
Tank sink or something, some kind of EFI tank.
Or also get the guy a new battery box, put his battery in so it looks a little bit cleaner. But
we'll probably clean this trunk up and go ahead and prime it and paint it too.
Yeah, go ahead and paint it, prime it. But once we get ready to do all that, we'll go ahead and start the video again.
We gotta try to get this thing done by December, hopefully.
We're gonna try to get it done by December. He wants to put it in the local Christmas parade in our town. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna try to get it done though. Should be able to get it done by then, but we'll see. All right, we're getting the car up on the lift now. In this video, we're gonna tear the motor out of it, everything, get the motor out of it, clean up a couple of things on the car, and then we're gonna run the new motor on the run stand. And then the rest of the build will be part 2, probably part 3. Do a couple of parts on this build. But we got the other motor off the run stand. We're about to put his on it. And then we're gonna get it all hooked up, and then I'll video it, show y'all his motor on the run stand, how we got it hooked up, everything else. We're gonna have to take his motors from LKQ. We're gonna make sure it works before we put it in his car. But before we put it on there, we're gonna have to take this intake off, and we're gonna put our run stand intake on with our injector adapters so that we can hook it up to the injectors on the run stand. But we're getting a little bit of a mess cleaned up, and then we're going to be putting it on here. We got the motor on the run stand. Dad's got HP tuners hooked up. About to go ahead and start it, make sure everything's good. We ain't got no fuel leaks. Come under the fuel cell to make sure it's tilted up so it's getting fuel. Looks like we're good. We ain't got no fuel leaks. Yep, got it ready to start.
Look at it, nothing's gonna hit the flex plate, the wires for the starter here.
Everything's out of the way.
Same rubbing on that.
What the hell is that?
Look at that.
Motor to run, it's got good oil pressure. So next we're gonna be starting to take his car apart, get it ready for the 6.0 to go in. Looked over the car earlier. We have a few things that we're gonna get ordered for it, and then we're gonna start building the motor, but that'll be in the next video. But this video we will be getting this car taken apart and get ready for the motor to be built and put in his car in the next video. But motor did what we expected it to do. Probably either tomorrow or sometime the next day, the guy will come over and get to see his motor run on the run stand before we put it in his car, or get ready to take the motor apart so they can see it's got good fuel pressure or good oil pressure and everything before we put it in his car. But so there wasn't any flanges, so we ended up having to cut the exhaust off and then cross member and bolted in. That's pretty it's a pretty bad issue, because when there's nothing to support the transmission there,
we're gonna use a different cross member.
Not good. We're gonna use different cross member, but we're gonna take all this stuff apart, get the motor out of it, and then we're gonna make it all look nice, fix a couple of things. We gotta change the U-joint too. They put the wrong U-joint in there, but needless to say, if you get an LS swap done, just make sure, check a couple of things, make sure it has O2 sensors, make sure it has the right stuff. That's the bolts in the U-joint right there.
Opinion.
If you have a gap right there,
You
shouldn't have a gap. But there's a couple of things you got to check when you get LS swaps done. Make sure those things are right. Yeah, just make sure whoever's doing it knows what they're doing. But we're gonna get started on this. We got the exhaust off. We got the drive shaft out of the car. I guess the dude tacked it and he didn't
second attempt.
weld it, and that's the second attempt. But that's pretty wild. I mean, this is a pretty vital part of a swap, is your transmission crossover.
Not that crazy, but still, like, welded it.
If this breaks, all hell can come break loose. Yeah. But I would definitely not skimp out on this. I would go ahead and go with a decent brand one. Like on my truck, I went with a good brand cross member. But I don't know. We got the converter bolts pulled. We're about to pull the transmission out.
Drive shaft out, got the exhaust off of it.
Exhaust sitting outside. I'm about to pull the transmission.
We also got the transmission drain.
We also got it drained. He drained it before I got out of here, but
There's free air.
free air. His
Jack it
bolts
up
had a Bluetooth connection holding it on.
The cross member.
Cross member
it up.
bolts were Bluetooth.
Go up a little bit more. You know, like I like having welded one on and cut it off and moved it, welded this one on. But don't weld it either.
Learn from this guy. If you don't succeed the first time, try again. We got the cross member out. We're about to pull the transmission. We got it on the transmission jack. We got the transmission out. Put the converter over there on the shelf, but before we put it back in the car, we got to send it to get it rebuilt. We're going through, and the guy's gonna put a shift kit in it and do a couple other things with it. Next, we're gonna be pulling the motor out. We got the oil draining out of the motor, and we got the fluid draining out of it. Once the oil gets done draining, that's not good. But once it gets done draining, we'll motor ready to pull out, and go ahead and pull the motor. So
Zoom in on the front one. No bolt.
No.
Zoom in on the back one.
no bolt in there either.
Look at all the orange.
Oh God, these are gonna be awesome to pull off.
What size do you think those are?
Probably 13, yeah. Man. At least they put them all in. Alright, we got the radiator and everything out. We're about to pull the intake. It should be the last thing we got to pull to get this motor out. We might go ahead and pull the alternator and some other accessories off. Alright, we got the intake off of it. We put the 6.0 in it. We're going to be going with a different intake. Somebody wants to buy it. Sure, he's looking to sell it. Pretty sure he'll also be selling this 5.3. So, but we're gonna get it pulled out, and then we're gonna get the. That'll probably be the end of this video. We'll do this one, putting this one in a different part, and taking the motor apart and everything. But we're gonna go ahead and get it pulled out. Alright, we got the motor pulled out. But that'll end this video. Next video we will be putting we'll be getting to the point where we're putting the other motor in it and getting the car started. Got a couple little things to patch up between videos. We're gonna do that, and I'll show y'all in the beginning of the next video. But got the motor out, made sure that other motor runs. Made sure it has oil pressure, did everything we needed to do. And pulled everything off of his car and put it on his shelf over here. But we're gonna be reusing these plug wires and his valley cover. I think that's pretty much all we're gonna be reusing, but we'll do that in the next video.